first conversation, they compared her to a cockroach and that she'd be the only thing living at the end of the world.
Where were you born? No, where you were born. Where were you born?
In Ukraine?
Mm-hmm. And then how long did you live in an orphanage in Ukraine? Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
How many years?
5.
Mm-hmm. 5 years. And then where did you go to?
New York.
Mm-hmm. You were adopted, right? And you went and lived in New York for 2 years, right? And then you were put back up for adoption, right?
For who?
Yeah. Then who adopted you?
You.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Me and Daddy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you moved to where? Where did you move to? Where do you live now?
Tennessee.
To Tennessee, all right?
One of my friends that had adopted shared with me about a Facebook page called Second Chance. There's an organization that works on finding children that had been adopted, that their adopted parents put them back up for adoption. So there are tons of kids just like our daughter that for whatever reason the first family just wasn't a good fit.
Jenny adopted Maria from her abusive adoptive parents.
I truly feel like the reason why the first family wasn't a good fit for her was I think there was abuse that happened to her when she was there. And then they had in their mind that they were going to get a child that, had no issues, from the orphanage. When I saw our daughter, there were a lot of signs that I just knew in my heart that she was ours. It was weird. It was definitely a God thing. Her name on the page was Mary. I'm Catholic and so I just believed that that was a sign from God. Then we found out what her real name was, which happened to be my grandmother's middle name. And that was the name that I wanted my daughter's middle name to be, just in honor of my Nana.
Maria is autistic and lives with cerebral palsy and reactive attachment disorder.
Once we were matched with our daughter, we had 2 phone calls with the family that she was with in New York. It was very disturbing. The first conversation, they compared her to a cockroach and that she'd be the only thing living at the end of the world. It took everything in me just to get off the phone the first time because I wanted to get off the phone because it was such a negative conversation and whatnot. We did not get to talk with her until we actually went up to New York to go get her. New York dad wanted to drive her down by himself, and the New York mom said no. And now I understand that since I'm pretty sure that there was some abuse, I'm glad that we drove up there. So we drove up there. We brought my 2 youngest sons so that way they could meet her and hopefully help with the transition because, pretty much she's meeting us. We're strangers. We did make a book that I put together kind of about every member of our family, and I mailed that to them so that way they could show it to her and kind of go over it with her so she could get a little familiar with who these strangers are. I asked them whether, they were having her therapist kind of go over it, with her and work with her on it. To them, therapy was a waste of time. And the dad had a PhD in psychology, which was kind of ironic.
They finally got to meet her and instantly knew she was theirs.
The first meeting was as soon as we got in town, we kind of unpacked and then we met them at a restaurant. Dad from New York brought her in pretty much by hand, forcefully. The brother of hers, that's their biological son, kept getting close to her, and the dad would just keep saying, separate, separate. And we were kind of like, what is going on? And then he force fed her salad in front of us. The mom brought a box full of all her important documents and her scrapbook, which I'm very thankful for. I had my 2 youngest boys kind of sit next to her just to kind of help her make her, feel a little bit more comfortable. She told us that night she wanted to go home with us. The next day we met up at a park. The mom kind of hung out with their son, didn't really, interact much. The dad gave me kind of creepy vibes. And so I kind of just told my husband and my boys to try to keep our daughter kind of away from them. The brother was emotionally abusive, physically abusive, pushed our daughter, kicked her, told her she was scared up on a sand pile, and he said, there's no reason to be scared unless I push you off of it. My boys heard that, were very upset about it. So yeah, it was interesting.
Maria is now living her best life, surrounded by a family who loves her.
We're so glad to see Maria living in such a loving and supportive household. Now, in the comments, people were so grateful to Jenny and her family for taking Maria in, with one saying, "How heartbreaking that humans can return a child. Bless you, she's so lucky, and you're also so lucky to have her." Others shared their own experiences, saying, "From a girl that was passed around since I was a baby, adopted, put back up again and again, I understand her. People have no idea how much she remembers." As always, thanks for watching Happiest. If you like this video, then be sure to follow our Instagram and our TikTok page for more videos like this. And if you have any of your own videos that you want to share, do send them in to us.